Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and Smallville Rewind. I gotta say that this episode was wild. I very much enjoyed this episode, and maybe you could say it's been a couple of duds, or I wouldn't say they were bad, but a little underwhelming episodes lately, so I think this one was very much needed and I was put in a good mood with this. This episode is called Crush. And at the beginning of the episode, we meet Adam Brody. Yes, Adam Brody is in this episode. And he is playing this character, Justin, who's in this, like, treatment hospital, like, center. I don't really know exactly. Maybe some rehab facility. And you find out that he was involved in a car accident, hit and run, and it completely destroyed his hands. Reminded me of Doctor Strange, except for Adam Brody's character. He was a drawer, like a really good drawer, and this accident messed up his hands. He can't draw anymore. And it's weird how this scene comes across because the doctor comes in and he's very sort of nonchalant and matter of fact about the situation. Like, oh, at least you're alive. Like, you're young enough to find a new hobby. Get over it type deal. And it doesn't help that it's like rainstorm outside, so you're constantly hearing the thunder and seeing the lightning through the windows. Like, okay, this doctor is definitely ominous and hiding some shit. And Adam Brody even sort of implies that this doctor is doing some unfair practices and maybe he's done some stuff to his other patients because they're suing him. But I couldn't quite figure out what exactly this doctor did. Like, what did he do? Like, specifically, what did he do to Adam Brody's character? Clearly, they imply that he did something. That maybe he didn't do enough to restore his hands, or I don't know, right? Like, they didn't specify, they didn't get into it. They just gave you this feeling about this doctor that, okay, I guess this guy's a piece of shit. So, as he's walking out with his wife, they get into an elevator. And you cut to Adam Brody, who he couldn't draw initially with his hands. Like, the drawing was terrible. But then he peels back the paper, and there's a perfect drawing of the doctor. And I'm like, wait a minute, is he faking it? Like, does he actually have his drawing abilities back? What's going on here? And you're seeing him drawing, like, not with his hands, though. It's like, very close up. And he starts drawing red on his hands. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then you cut to the elevator where the elevator is falling with the doctor and his wife, and it's going crazy. Then it gets stuck. And the wife is able to open the doors, but it's classic horror movie situation where the elevator is only halfway through. So the wife is able to climb through onto the floor, and she goes to grab the doctor's hands. I was freaking out the whole time because I just knew something was happening. Something was going to happen. It reminded me of Final Destination 2, where the mother got her head cut off from the elevator being stuck. So this guy gets his hands crushed as the elevator falls, and presumably the doctor dies. And that was an intense open. I was like, wow, okay, this is a completely brand new character with a horror type introduction. So let's see how we go from here. So it's career day in Smallville High, and you see that Chloe wants to intern for the Daily Planet, which makes the most sense in the world. Now, I think it's stuff like this that made fans theorize and think that Chloe might actually go on to become Lois Lane because of how much of a reporter, investigator that she is. She runs the school newspaper, the Torch, and now her showing interest in the Daily Planet. I can totally see. First time when I watched this, I wasn't thinking that. I knew Chloe was a brand new made-up character, but I didn't think that she could be Lois Lane. But I saw the fan theories later and thought, huh, that's interesting. And now going back with that in my mind, I definitely see it. And what's more interesting about this, though, is that Clark seems completely not interested in working for the Daily Planet at all, which is funny. There's actually even a moment when one of the military guys says to Clark, you know, I could see you in a uniform flying. You ever thought of joining the military? This is like, they love to hit that home. The idea that someday, one day, Clark will be flying and wearing a suit. But Chloe blows up at Clark. Like, Clark says something to her and she gets angry. Something along the lines of, like, I haven't spent time with you over the last week. You've been too busy with Lana at the Talon that you won't give me the time of day. And Clark's like, what's the big deal? Like, why are you freaking out? And she runs off. And Pete has to spell it out to Clark. Now, this was wild to me, even though I said I enjoyed this episode. There was a couple of cringe moments and a couple of, like, dumb Clark moments, right? Just as far as... So Pete says to him, well, Clark, you clearly can't pick up the signs. Chloe likes you, and she's been wanting to get time alone with you. Just the two of you. Hello? And Clark goes, oh... And I'm like, no, we've been here before. Clark knows that Chloe likes him. We've established this. There's been episodes before when Ryan read Chloe's mind and told Clark that she likes him. And, I mean, maybe you can chalk it up as Clark just didn't believe it or he wasn't 100% sure. But even during that same episode where Chloe basically was hinting around the fact that, like, hey, you know, like, whatever, he would just avoid it, right? He would just not want to talk about it. He would just want to leave. And so it's like, don't tell me that Clark didn't know. I find that really hard to believe. But now that Pete told him, now Clark's like, oh, all right, maybe I should ask Chloe out. This whole time. She's been throwing herself at him, and he's just now realizing that she likes him. So he's about to go and I guess ask her out. I don't know. He sees her talking to Adam Brody's character at the lockers, and they, like, go off to hang out. Because I guess when Adam Brody was hurt in the hospital, Chloe wrote to him for 6 months. And at first I thought maybe Clark was just sort of surprised. He later admits that he was jealous. So that actually surprised me very much, that Clark would get jealous, because it seemed like Clark didn't like Chloe in that way. Then you have Lana. So Lana comes in, and I think she's asking about Clark's mom potentially baking pies for the Talon, whatever. Clark brings up the fact to Lana that he just found out Chloe likes him. And now he's like, well, maybe I should pursue it. And Lana has this reaction of like, really, Clark? Oh, you and Chloe, huh? Like, she's giving off this weird vibe of she clearly doesn't like the fact that Clark might have another girl that he's potentially interested in. And I'm sitting here going, Lana, you have a boyfriend. Like, you have a very serious boyfriend in Whitney. And, I mean, I guess I could understand that even though she has a boyfriend, Clark will always be somebody that she'll have feelings for, the person that will get away. But it's like she didn't even pretend to act happy for him. Or she didn't even pretend to be like, yeah, you should date Chloe. She's a nice girl and you two would be good together. No, she just got tense and stiffed up and was just like, oh, yeah, good luck with that. And she just leaves. I was like, wow, Lana, that was wild. Even Clark kind of seemed like he caught how awkward that was. So Adam Brody, you see that he uses telekinesis to draw. So that explains the good drawing earlier. He uses telekinesis. He can't use his hands. So there you go. He's drawing a picture of Chloe, which is a little creepy, but okay, fine, sure. There's feelings there. There's even a moment when Clark is talking to Pete, and Clark is talking shit about Adam Brody behind his back. And Adam Brody just happens to be around the corner, and he overhears it, and he goes, oh yeah, Clark? Talking shit, huh? And it's more of just Clark saying that he doesn't trust him, or he just thinks that Adam Brody's character's weird. So there's a scene in the Talon where Whitney says to Lana, hey, I have these tickets to like a concert, blah, blah, blah. I want us to make up for lost time. And Lana just doesn't really seem all that interested. It's like, man, Lana is a very hard person to read. Maybe she has Clark on the brain, right? Now Clark might have another girlfriend, so now Lana can't be happy. So when Whitney leaves, Clark goes up to her and says, are you all right? She says, Whitney's trying to like make up for lost time. She says something interesting here where she says, our relationship was defined by his father getting sick and him needing me. And now that his father is getting better, I don't really know what our relationship is anymore. And I thought, wait a minute. I thought when Whitney's father got sick, he distanced himself from Lana. He stopped talking to Lana. He stopped opening up to Lana. He would like ditch her and go off and like be in his feelings. And even Clark had to go to Whitney and talk to him and say, hey, talk to your girlfriend here. There was even that one episode when Whitney was being so distant that Lana almost kissed Clark. What are we talking about here? They got closer after the father was sick? That's not what I've been watching. So I'm like, Lana, what are you talking about? So then Clark has this moment where he says to her that because of the whole thing with Chloe, he had another moment with another friend that he liked and he decided to just be friends with, and she can tell it's about her. She says, do you regret that? And he says, well, yes, but I think that moment's passed. And she smiles, like realizing it's about her and maybe thinking that, ooh, there's a chance, right? And I'm just like, this is so awkward. Them talking about themselves, liking each other, but not outwardly saying it, just sort of beating around the bush and dancing around the topic. Like, I get they're in high school. I get they're teenagers. I'm not saying I was better. I did some silly teenage angst, immature stuff as well in high school. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, watching it now, it's so fucking awkward and weird. So, Justin, Adam Brody, he goes to Chloe and he kisses her. And as he's kissing her, a bunch of items in the room start to rise with the telekinesis. Chloe sees this, freaks out. He tells her, he confides, he opens up that, hey, I have telekinesis. And it's interesting that his powers don't come from meteor rocks. I'm glad. Believe me. I just think the meteor stuff has been too forced with some of the other Freak of the Weeks. But this is something that just developed on his own, which is weird, but hey, maybe he's Carrie, and it didn't kick in until this freak accident, this hit and run. So Clark walks in, catches them kissing, and he's clearly uncomfortable. He talks to Chloe outside, and they get into an argument. Basically, him saying that I think Adam Brody is bad for you, and that you're just getting involved with him because you're mad at me. And Chloe says, hey, newsflash, my whole life doesn't revolve around you, Clark. Which is like, it doesn't? Really? You sure about that? But I appreciate Chloe's sentiment. If I was her, I probably would have said the same shit just to piss Clark off as well. Adam Brody. I wouldn't say Justin, but I think Adam Brody first. So Justin finds out that the license plate of the car that was involved in the hit and run was Principal Kwan's car. Principal Kwan, we haven't seen him in a bit, but okay, that would surprise me. So Justin goes to Principal Kwan's house, sees him, and tells him that, like, I know you were the one that did the hit and run. And I was actually genuinely shocked. I didn't remember this at all. I said, holy shit, Principal Kwan is the one that did the hit and run? And like, that's pretty fucked. And Justin makes the car crash into Principal Kwan. A pretty crazy stunt. Because it kills Principal Kwan. Principal Kwan dies before the end of the season. I thought Principal Kwan lasted a lot longer than just one season. Less than one season, but no, he's dead. And I thought, wow, that's fucked. Cut to a little bit where Clark goes to the scene of the crime. He's obviously suspicious about Justin. Chloe doesn't want to hear it, doesn't want to think that he would do something like that. Clark goes there, and we see Principal Kwan's son, which it's like, oh, he has a son? I don't even know if we knew that or ever see this dude before, but they're going back and forth, and Clark tells him about the license plate, and the son had a face to that news, and I thought, oh, fuck, the son was the one that hit Justin. God damn. This, twists and turns, like, this actually took me by surprise. It impressed me with the sort of roller coaster that we went on here. I didn't see a lot of this coming. And also the idea that Principal Kwan just was murdered for something that he didn't do, which is fucked up. And so Chloe goes to Justin's house without him there. She finds he has this like a comic book that he drew of all of the murders that he's doing. I don't know why he would do that. He's weird. So now Chloe knows, oh fuck, he is the murderer. Clark was right. And he comes in and he almost catches her, but not. And she's very awkward and weird because now she knows he's a killer, so she's like doesn't want to be near him. He catches that. She leaves and she calls Clark to tell him he was right. Justin is the killer. Oh my god, I'm in your barn. Where are you? Clark, of course, is at the town because that's the only place he hangs out with now, is to be around Lana. And Justin must have followed her because Justin's at the barn. And he tries to kill her, which is fucked up. Now, I didn't mention earlier, whenever you had stuff floating from Justin's telekinesis, it was bad CGI. I don't try to judge too harsh on CGI from like 2001, 2002, because it was what it was. And at the time, we probably thought, hey, that looks pretty good. But rewatching it now, it's like, yeah, that looks pretty rough. But Justin picking up Chloe with the telekinesis. Obviously, it's Chloe on wires, but it's great. Like, the practicalness of this looked great. Him picking her up, throwing her around, her struggling to run towards the door, and he closes the door and locks it. Like, all of that played up very well. And he knocks her out. And, of course, poor Chloe gets knocked out. He's about to chainsaw her to death as she's knocked out unconscious. Clark super speeds in, and it's a badass moment where Clark goes in front of the chainsaw, and the chainsaw completely shatters to him. And Adam Brody, this is a guy who, yes, he's the villain of the episode, but his acting was so solid because he didn't play this up like a maniacal villain, like an evil villain. He played this like a straightforward, actually decent guy, other than the fact that he's been killing people. Like, if it wasn't for that, I would have thought he was probably a good potential boyfriend for Chloe. But the moment when he sees Clark shatter the chainsaw, that's when he freaks out and says, what the fuck? How'd you do that? And Clark tells him that Kwong wasn't the one who killed him, ran him over. And that's when he starts to really freak out. So I do like that he saved the bigger performance for this particular scene. It made sense. And Clark, it's cool because Justin uses his telekinesis to lift Clark up into the other part of the barn, but then Clark just super speeds right behind him. Like, the way how they maneuvered the camera around that was great. And Clark just throws him across the room, knocks him out. So I don't know. They later say that Justin's now in a psych ward or maybe the same mental hospital that every other character goes to. But, like, because he hit his head, is he not going to remember that he saw Clark shatter the chainsaw? Or is he so delusional that no one's going to believe him? I guess we didn't really get to the bottom of that. And when Clark wakes Chloe up, Allison Mack's performance, I say this almost every episode. Allison Mack, she just wakes up and she doesn't even say anything. She just starts to have tears come down her face, hugs Clark because she's like, you were like, her face says all of this, that you were right, you saved me, like you always save me. And she just had so much emotion on her face, just hugging him. And I'm like, man, god damn it, maybe Chloe should have been the main love interest for this goddamn show. You cut to the two of them, Clark and Chloe, at the Talon talking. And Clark says, "Hey, I got these tickets for this convention or whatever, maybe for the Daily Planet. I forget what it was. But you should go with me." And Chloe says, "Okay, it's a date." And Clark just smiles and he touches her hand. And like he holds her hand. And I thought, holy shit, these two are going to date? Because my memory is that they never date. My memory is that Clark and Chloe like never date. Never. So I don't really know what's going on right now, because that was all very weird. Lana also doesn't really know what's going on because it cuts to Lana watching them. Super stalker Lana. First time we've seen Lana be the stalker this time, and she clearly looks uncomfortable. Clearly is not happy that Clark and Chloe are potentially getting together. Whitney comes in and Lana literally starts to go to Whitney and says, "Whitney, we need to talk." Like she's going to break up with Whitney. She's going to break up with Whitney to then go to Clark and say, "You can't date Chloe because I'm in love with you, Clark." Like that's what it looks like Lana was about to do here. But Whitney's visibly upset. You find out that his father has died. And of course she can't break up with him now because she'd be a real bitch if she did that. Cut to the patented funeral scene in the rain, which very much gave me vibes of a Sam Raimi Spider-Man scene of whenever a character dies, we had a raining funeral scene, so that was played up well. There was another plot, a B plot of this woman from Lex's past, not a lover, because we've had plenty of those from Lex's past. This older woman shows up and she's from Lex's past. At first, we don't really know what's going on. You find out that she was Lex's caretaker when he was a kid after the meteor shower accident, and Lex's mother was sick. She took care of him. She looked after him, and I guess she was almost his motherly figure for that period of time. And then she just up and left. When Lex's mother died, she left, and so Lex hated this woman. She's trying to like get forgiveness and trying to explain things, but she's not really explaining things. So Lex is basically like fuck you mode. She finally confesses that Lionel got rid of her. Lionel told her he threatened her if she didn't leave. And so Lex is still like, what? I don't really know if I buy this. And she says she wants forgiveness. Lex says no. Later on, Lionel admits that she is dying of cancer. And so that's when Lex realizes that, oh shit, that's why she wanted forgiveness, and he feels bad. And so it was a decent B plot. It was a decent thing. More Lex, more Lionel, more Rosenbaum and John Glover. I will always eat that up. And it also just, it's a smidget of backstory as far as how Lex was raised, how this lady might have been the only potential of light, might actually be the only reason why Lex is a halfway decent human being right now, given who his father is. And it's interesting when Lex goes to the hospital to see her, and he's sort of like feeling a little guilty, and she's talking about the type of man that he turned out to be, and he's questioning that he might just be like his father. And she says, the fact that you're here right now shows what kind of man you've grown up to be. And I like that line, I do, but it hits so much harder knowing that Lex does end up becoming a villain. So like this good person that Lex had in him and potentially could be, it's all fucked, right? And so that's kind of sad and depressing to see and think that way. So guys, I really enjoyed this episode, Crush, like I said, for all the reasons. I just thought this was great. Had a lot of really good stuff in it. And fuck, Clark and Chloe, huh? I guess that's happening. Or is it? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this episode. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!